आदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानिभि देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभुवे नमः माधुर्य उज्ज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगा भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरोधाप उपसिद्धांत द्वंत हारिणे the glorious departure day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Just prior to the departure of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Thakur wrote one letter and it was received by our Prabhupada, and then said earlier, is to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya to the English speaking world and to print as many books as possible. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he departed on 1st January 1937. In the very early hours. Some places it is written 31st December 1936, some places it is written 1st January, same thing. In the early morning hours of 1st January 1937. And this letter Srila Prabhupada received just before that. In fact, he received the letter when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur had already departed. And the greatest gift to this world by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is the instruction that he gave to Srila Prabhupada. The greatest gift of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is our Prabhupada, Abhay Babu. That he gave such an instruction and inspired Srila Prabhupada. That Prabhupada took that instruction as his life and soul. And to fulfill the instruction, Srila Prabhupada preached all over the world. 3 years continuously, by blessing, I was having opportunity to glorify 21st in 2021 in our Radha Parsarthi temple, 2022 in Punjabi Bagh, and again 2023 in our temple. But today, our new GBC Maharaj, as well as Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj, he had a desire to speak on glorify Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, so Maharaj gave the class. But I want to share some of the very unknown glories of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. What I have not covered so far in these 3 lectures, that I will try to share with you. And I'm also feeling very weakened today, not getting an opportunity to know and glorify Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So some portions I have selected from Srila. There is a detailed biography of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur by Srila Prabhupada, so very clear. Book is not visible. This is 3-volume Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. And this is one of my very prized possession. As award for book distribution, I had once asked. I told the BPT team that if you really want to give some book, give me Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. It's a voluminous Bhakti. Vikas Swami Maharaj did research for 20 years. 20 years, Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj did research on Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's life, and then he has presented this voluminous 3 volumes Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a real revolutionary. He revolutionized the Krishna consciousness movement. Our Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he reformed. He reformed and he transformed. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a lion guru. He revolutionized. He introduced so many new conceptions, or he taught us how to have yukta vairagya. Now everything can be utilized in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. And Maharaj was very, very keen to preach to the aristocratic class of people. He even preached to the Britishers. One second. Hare Krishna live. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was himself the exemplar of this ideal, incessantly serving Krishna without desiring anything in return. That Srila Rupa Goswami explains as Anya Vilashita Shunyam. We recite this verse not even having a proper understanding of what it means, and disregarding whatever could have been construed at his own physical or mental happiness. So Maharaj gives a very strong statement. He says that his instructions, Maharaj gave many, many instructions, and his instructions are compiled. And Maharaj says that those who are materialistic, who are very proud of worldly wealth and have no spiritual knowledge, consider their own happiness the aim of life. This is what a karmi is. That he is always trying to enjoy through his senses. As do prakat sahajyas. So Maharaj is comparing. Maharaj is comparing those who are prakrit. Prakrit means those who are, posing themselves as devotees. There are 3 types of devotees, Prakrit, Madhyam, and Uttam. Prakrit means neophyte, beginners. Second is Madhyam. Madhyam means those who have at least come to the stage of Nishtha, whose anarthas have been overcome, who has been able to overcome anarthas. That's not an easy state, very high state, when one is free from anarthas. That is Madhyama. And then there is Uttama. Uttama means one who has developed love for Krishna. So Maharaj is saying that like the materialistic people, so there are devotees also, and they are called Prakrit. Prakrit means that they are still having material aspirations. They have the desire to enjoy this life in a worldly way. Although they also are practicing Krishna consciousness, but they are not pure in their intentions. My God, why is this open? Okay. Some aspire to enjoy themselves by sharing the happiness of Krishna. This is the mentality of fruity workers who want to enjoy sense gratification by making a show of service to Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati described Padma Niti, the policy of Padma, Kamsa's mother. Maharaj has many, many, analogies and many short stories and examples. In payment for herding his cow, Nanda gave Krishna a little milk and butter to eat. Just here. If Nanda were shown the account of the value of the milk and butter against the amount of work that Krishna does, he would definitely give up Krishna. Having the calculating mentality of a merchant, Padma cannot understand how in guileless love devotees dedicate all their activities to Bhagavan. Non-devotees cannot comprehend how devotees give their all to Krishna. So Maharaj is comparing that they are completely on a different platforms. And how Krishna is more dear to Nanda than his very life. Therefore, non-devotees resort to Padmaniti for conducting mercantile exchanges with Bhagavan. So this is the mentality of the fruitive worker. Fruitive worker means those who are always trying to get some better return or better reward or some exchange. So they come to Krishna and they want to get some boon or some material benediction. And even when dealing with devotees, they are always calculating. Similarly, Srila Saraswati Thakur also gave example of Ravana stealing Maya Sita, citing the statement Aprakrit Vastu Nahi Prakata Gochara. This is the principle. Aprakat Vastu Nahi Prakrit Gochara. By any material means or by any material resource, one cannot access the spiritual platform. Spiritual phenomena are never within the jurisdiction of material intellection. He would say, if we make a show of living in Navdeep Dham, we do not live there at all. If we pretend to approach a guru and receive diksha and shiksha, then actually we do not go near or even see him. We are like bugs and mosquitoes on a sadhu. Maharaj has very strong words. That can neither see nor touch the spiritual substance of his transcendental body. Srila Saraswati Thakur always uttered words like Adhyakshika and Adhyakshikta with an air of distance and repeatedly decried empiricists' attempt to extend their mensural proclivity to the unlimited and hence innumerable transcendental personality of Godhead. It's very difficult. Maharaj's philosophy is very, very high. It is very, very pristine. Even for me to comprehend is not easy. He would cite Miyate Anae Iti Maya. Maya is the means of measurement. And he entirely explained the import of the word Adhokshaja and Aprakata. To the many who came to Srila Saraswati Thakur with a premature and immature hope that he would show them God, he would reply, don't try to see God, but try to act in such a way that he will want to see you. This is very famous. Very, very famous. One Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was giving a discourse, and his discourses were very long. There was no time limit. There was only the known fact that when it will begin, but it was never known when it will end. And very few were able to survive or continue in the class. So once what happened, Maharaj was giving the class, like you see when we start the class at 8 a.m., the deities darshans are closed. And after half an hour, the deities darshan opened. And some of the assembled devotees who were sitting there, they stood up when the darshan, some who stand up and they go near and see the deities, or they bow down, pay their obeisances to the deities. So some of the visitors who were there, they went ahead and they, went in front of the deities, and they, whatever they did, they had darshans of the deities. And while they were leaving, so Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj asked them that How was your eye exercise? How was your eye exercise? Why? Because there is no possibility of seeing the deities with this Charma Chakshu. And Maharaj hammered this point and said that we can only see through the ears. The Supreme Brahman can only be known through the Shabda. And we see our Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada many times spoke to his disciples in his conversations that whenever he went, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur would speak and he would sit and hear. And Srila even Prabhupada, such a scholar like Prabhupada said, that most of the time he was not able to fully understand what Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was speaking. But he would sit and hear. And once what happened when Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was speaking and Srila Prabhupada was hearing, the person sitting next to him, he was not able to understand what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was speaking. Mostly he spoke in Bangla or English. So that person was seeking some clarification from Srila Prabhupada based on what Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was speaking. And Prabhupada at the Abhay Babu, he tried to explain. So as soon as Prabhupada spoke, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur attention was caught. And he really rebuked Srila Prabhupada very sternly. And he said that, what do you think? You know better? If you know better, then come here and speak. And Prabhupada did not protest. Prabhupada did not say a word. Once I was reading one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples' realization, that devotee used to stay in forest areas. And when he met Prabhupada, so Prabhupada asked him, what were you doing in forest? It was the first meeting. But you see how eternal guru and eternal disciple meets. So this devotee who was staying in forest, he did not speak anything. Prabhupada poked him 2-3 times. That what were you doing in forest? What that devotee deliberated is that if I would have said that I was serving Krishna, so Prabhupada would have really chastised him. That did Krishna come and ask you to do some service in forest? On what basis you are saying, claiming that you are doing service for Krishna? And if you would have said that I would, because I like to be in forest, I don't like to be in city, then Prabhupada would have said this is purely sense gratification. So he kept silent. And Prabhupada smiled at him. Prabhupada could read his heart, Prabhupada could read his mind. So in that instance, when Prabhupada was chastised, very heavily, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur chastised Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada did not utter a word. And Prabhupada, he moved forward. So that the other person who was sitting on his back, he might not again, ask anything which he could not understand. But Prabhupada used to hear. And there is a very famous incident that when in Radha Kund, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was taking the parikrama after Srila Prabhupada's initiation in 1933. Prabhupada came, I think, at that time from Bombay. Yeah. He was first visiting Vrindavan. First time Prabhupada was visiting Vrindavan. And Prabhupada went to Radha Kund and parikrama was happening. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur used to take parikrama. The parikrama that we have now in ISKCON, the 1 month Braj Mandal parikrama, it was all initiated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So Prabhupada joined him in Radha Kund, and then later parikrama went to Sheshashahi Vishnu. There's a place called Sheshashahi Vishnu. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was speaking, and it was a long lecture as usual. Hardly few were able to say. Only those very, very close sannyasi disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, they would be able to survive. Others all would, quit. They would all leave. So Prabhupada was only 3 or 4 were left, and amongst them was Srila Prabhupada. This is before initiation, actually, before initiation. And when the initiation application came to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur immediately said, yes, I have marked this man. I have marked this boy, Abhay. He likes to hear. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur approved Srila Prabhupada's initiation immediately. And he gave both the initiation together. He gave the Harinam initiation and also the Brahmin initiation together. Because Prabhupada's quality of hearing was very much appreciated. So here, so how do we know that the disciple is genuine or bona fide? That he has a desire to hear. So Prabhupada is saying, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is saying that don't try to see God, but try to serve in such a way that the Supreme Lord comes to see you. And that happened in Prabhupada's Lila. One of Srila Prabhupada's disciples is His Grace Jayananda Prabhu. You know about Jayananda Prabhu? 2-3 times I have spoken about Jayananda Prabhu. Yes or no? Why, Pranab, you are having video of? Are you outside?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, I'm in train.
You are in train. And Manini, where are you? In plane?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम इन होम प्रभु जी
हाँ, होम में तो फिर वीडियो क्यों ऑफ है?
ऑन है प्रभु जी
नहीं, मुझे तो आपका दर्शन, आप दर्शन हुआ जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा के साथ. So Jayanand Prabhu used to do such service that whenever Prabhupada came to San Francisco, Prabhupada would always ask, where is Jayanand? Call him. And they would always find that Jayanand Prabhu is busy in doing some service. So this is what we should try to aspire for. One who asks the Guru to show him Bhagwan can never really be attracted to the sweetness of Krishna's flute. This is Maharaj's Vani, from which all Vani emanates. But those who genuinely want to serve the form of Godhead request a Guru, by your instructions, please correct and purify me, and give me the eyes by which I can actually see. Chakshudan dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se, which I may actually see. Godhead must be seen first through the ears. Same point. First Vani, then Vapu. The ears prepare the eyes. This is the principle. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did not deny the importance of the quest to see God. So he did not say that you should not have an aspiration to see God. Rather, he underscored its importance, stating that to behold the beauty of Shri Radha Krishna's toenails is the only proper utility of the eyes. Yet he stressed that the only possible means to achieve such darshan is by developing a service attitude, to be able to serve, which itself tantamount to seeing God. So if we are hearing with this desire to improve, to correct, to advance, and the purpose to perform service and please Guru and Krishna, then such hearing, such darshan is by developing a service attitude, which itself tantamount to seeing God. It is necessary to seek the sight of Krishna. That should be our first and only endeavor. Our souls have no real function till we are face to face with the divinity. Sri Krishna shows himself to those who prefer his service to any other occupation. Sevan mukhi hi jivado swayameva spurati yada. How does the slok begin? What is the first line? Atta Shri Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya sevan mukhi hi jivado swayameva spurati yada. Seeing Bhagwan means total engagement of the senses in his service. In other words, serving the Lord 24 hours a day with all one's senses means being established in one's primal constitutional position in which one naturally sees Bhagwan. By the Guru's mercy and strength gained from personal bhajan, one becomes fully aware of Krishna's manifestation, both internally and externally. This is seeing Bhagwan. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gives the principle here that by Guru's mercy, that is foremost, and the spiritual strength. What is the spiritual strength? From personal bhajan. Then one is becoming Krishna conscious internally and externally, and he says this is seeing Bhagwan. In the lecture on 10th November 1936 in Puri, these are his, very final days. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta emphasized the type of faith required to approach the Supreme Lord. I see the statue. This kind of thinking is in the spirit of enjoyment. Whereas the deity sees me, my uncovered pure self is deity darshan. Very beautiful. The deity sees me, my uncovered pure self is deity darshan. It's very deep. If in the same way that I see a movie, drama, or gymnastic display, or hear a song, I think I can see the deity with my eyes and fathom him by my intelligence, such an attempt will be on the material platform. One will derive no benefit from such inclinations not meant for satisfying the Lord's senses. Faith in the Lord entails not having faith in mundane enjoyment or renunciation. If one has faith in this world, then that is bhog, enjoyment. The objects of the world are for my enjoyment. Such a mentality is due to not having initiation and spiritual knowledge. Worldly people are completely different from devotees. Always this was one of the very focused emphasis by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. He very much emphasized that asat santyag. He said worldly people are completely different from devotees. Difficulties occur when one thinks that he who is to be served should serve oneself. You get the point? He who is to be served should serve oneself. That is trying to engage Krishna in one's own service. O Lord, take notice of me. I am coming to collect dues from you in the form of dharma, artha, kama, moksha for sense gratification. Hiding this inner intention, a person says, Jagannath Swami, Nayan Patgami Bhavatumi. Prabhu, I am having class. After class, I'll call you. So this is very prominent. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is called the Lion Guru, and he is also called, his technique for preaching was called chopping. You know chopping? Like vegetables are cut. Yeah. He used to cut all the hidden agendas of everyone. So here he is exposing that if one has faith in this world, then it is bhoga enjoyment. The objects of the world are for my enjoyment. Such a mentality is due to not having initiation and spiritual knowledge. Worldly people are completely different from devotees. Difficulties occur when one thinks, okay, he who is to be served should serve oneself. O Lord, take notice of me. I am coming to collect dues from you in the form of dharma, artha, kam, moksha for sense gratification. Hiding his inner intention, a person says, Jagannath Swami, Nayan Padgami Bhavatu. O Lord of the universe, please be visible to me. And other such delirious karma kandiya words. This is not bhakti. I went and saw the holy place. I went and saw the tree. Maharaj is comparing. I went and saw Jagannath. I went and saw the sadhu, bestowing on them a degree. I have dismissed them and come here. All of this is a matter of enjoyment and cannot at all be called service. If the consideration of who am I has not entered the heart And if Sambandh Gyan concerning my eternal object of worship never arises, then how will Shraddha and Sharanagati develop? So service will only begin when there is Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan means that one is situated in his constitutional position. So Maharaj is raising this question that if this realization has not entered his heart, that what is his constitutional position, that who am I, then how his Shraddha and Sharanagati will develop. Those who drift, I'm reading from further because I have less time. Those who drift in this world have no time for hearing about service to the Lord. Even if they make a pretense of hearing, they do so according to their own viewpoint. If they do not like what they hear, they reject it outright. They do not give priority to the topic of Lord service. They think that their present day needs are more pressing. They consider it better for an intelligent person to spend his time hearing mundane poetry. What right do we have to accept service from others? But in spite of that, we think, let the whole universe serve me. And I use the river water and fruit from the tree, but have no connection with the Lord. If one wants to know about the Lord, he must approach a devotee of the Lord. One cannot bypass the proper channel. Very diplomatic English, Maharaj is saying that one cannot bypass the proper channel. What is the proper channel? The devotee of the Lord. Ordinary persons and Kanishta Adhikaris. Maharaj is including both. With ordinary persons, those who are Kanishta. Kanishta means Prakrit. Cannot comprehend who is serving the Lord and who is not. Rather, they have the inclination to oppose those who serve the Lord because the service attitude and behavior of a devotee does not mix well with worldly so-called moral or immoral conduct. Materialists disparage devotees of the Lord, understanding that they are not instruments for the materialistic satisfaction and pleasure. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur demonstrated Drigdarsha Vichar. Drigdrishya Vichar. When at Sri Chaitanya Mat, he was once standing at the doorway of the inner sanction, looking towards the deity of Sri Guru Gaurang Gandharvika Giridhar. You remember the deities of Sri Chaitanya Mat? Sri Guru Gaurang and Gandharvika Giridhar. That was the headquarters in Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's time. Still it is. Since Srila Saraswati Thakur was not wearing his spectacles, an accompanying disciple suggested that perhaps he was unable to properly see the deities. So Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur always has that round spectacles. So at that time, Maharaj was not having these spectacles on his eyes. So one of his disciples spoke. So he suggested perhaps that he was unable to properly see the deities. Srila Saraswati Thakur smiled and said, we should not think of the Supreme Lord as an object of our vision. Jagannath Swami, Nayan Patagami, Bhava Tumre. You please become present in front of my eyes. As if I have done very big favor to you that I have come in front of you. Now it is your duty to give your audience to me. We should not think of the Supreme Lord as an object of our vision. Instead, we should meditate on how we can acquire some qualification to become worthy objects of His vision. How we can please the Lord so that the Lord shows interest to see us. We should consider whether He wants to see us and reveal Himself to us. Following the example of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took darshan of Jagannath in Puri from a distance. From behind the Garud Sthambh at the entrance of the temple, he explained, we will stand behind our Guru, Garud. Jagannath will look at Garud because Garud is his devotee. Then he will also cast his merciful glance upon us. After once taking darshan in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur expounded. So the best place to take our darshan is where? In the altar. Where to take the darshan? Where we should stand?
वही गौरव स्तंभ वही पीछे
बोलो।
तो वो आप
के पीछे
प्रभुपाद जी के पास हो। तो
ये कैसा बनेगा? बोलिए। प्रभुपाद जी के ठीक सामने, जो मेन ऑल्टर होता है उसके ठीक सामने शिव प्रभुपाद जी का विग्रह होता है। क्यों? क्योंकि डिटीज किसको देखना चाहते हैं? अपने शुद्ध भक्त को, अपने प्योर डिवोटी को। तो अभी भक्तिसिद्धांत ठाकुर क्या है? That we stand behind our Guru Garud. Jagannath will look at Garud because Garud is his devotee. Then he will also cast his merciful glance upon me. After once taking darshan in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur expounded, Jagannath is not Drishya, but Drishta. Understand what is Drishya? No? Drishta is the object to be seen. And Drishta means the seer, one who sees. Only when a jiva is wholly free from the conception of himself being Drishta, and when he is fully situated in the understanding of himself as Drishya, of Jagannath, and to be enjoyed by him, then only can the jiva remain Sevan Mukha, with the eyes of love actually have darshan of Jagannath. As long as we think I shall see Jagannath, then we shall not see him, but only wood, stone, an object described in Buddhist literature, or then as an antique, handless statue that is an object of our enjoyment. Eyes of flesh can never chalk out the Sachidanand Vigraha. Only persons who realize themselves as Drishya, whose eyes by hearing from Shastra or by chanting the holy name may have darshan of the Sachidanand reality. On another occasion, one who sees must do it with bhakti. A pure devotee, a servant of Bhagwan, and non-devotees are those with extraneous desires, karmis, jnanis, yogis, and the rest. If in the mood of an enjoyer we go to see Jagannath, regarding him as an object of our enjoyment, then we will simply see a wooden doll and return. Some will say Jagannath is armless, Ram a wooden doll. Others consider him a wooden mannequin with spirit inside. When a devotee requested Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, be merciful to me, I want to see Bhagwan in this life, he was reproved. Will you see Bhagwan or will Bhagwan see you? Maharaj asked this question. That what is the possibility that can you see Bhagwan or will Bhagwan see you? For your own satisfaction, you want to see Bhagwan. This is not the correct attitude. Thus again, insinuating that simply an impression on the retina. Maharaj goes even further. That simply an impression on the retina is not sufficient for seeing the Supreme Lord. To actually see him, one must serve the Guru and be awarded divine vision. What does Krishna say to Arjuna? When Arjuna says that I want to see your form, your majestic form, your glorious universal form. What Krishna tells Arjuna? That you cannot see, my dear. With this eyes, you will not be able to see. First, what I have to do? I have to give you that divine eyes. Divyam dadami te chakshu. So unless and until that chakshudan is given by the spiritual master, there is no possibility. So one must serve the Guru and be awarded divine vision. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sutri insisted, the path to see God is by service implied subservience to the Guru, who is the transparent representative of the parampara, and by waiting and for expecting the mercy of Krishna. Srila Saraswati Thakur emphasized that hearing from devotee is more important. See, very important. I'm reading from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sabha, just not from anywhere else. What he is saying. that hearing from devotee is more important than independently reading Shastra or attempting to see the Lord directly. He would cite Shrutikshita Patha. Krishna, one name of Krishna is very beautiful. He is Shrutikshitaha. That is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. I have read it and I have many times spoken on that also. It is Krishna is Shrutikshitaha. Krishna can be seen through the ears. And Patha means the path or the principle. The process of seeing by hearing. And explain vision of Krishna can be attained only through the medium of the ear, by hearing Harikatha from pure Vaishnavas. When this was there, number is there, okay. When a man told him, while sitting on the riverside yesterday, I saw Krishna. See, another interesting conversation. When a man told him, while sitting on the riverside yesterday, I saw Krishna. Srila Saraswati Thakur asked him, did you not see also Maya? That person claimed that he saw Krishna. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked him, did you not see Maya? If you still seeing Maya, it means you did not see Krishna. If the person said yes, then he was trapped. You must have seen a ghost. The test of seeing Krishna is no longer be interested in Maya. Anyone can say he has seen Krishna, but Srila Rupa Goswami says, Smaren bhangi traya parchitam sachibhistirna drishtitam vamsinyasta dhara kishalayam ujvalam chandra kenaha govindakhyam haritanum itha keshi tirtopakanthe ma prekshasishtas tavayadi sakhe bandhu sange asti rangaha. My dear friend, if you are attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Govinda. Very beautiful verse. Very, very famous also. My dear friend, if you are attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Govinda as he stands on the banks of the Yamuna at Keshi Ghat. Casting sidelong glances, he places his flute to his freshly blossoming lips. His transcendental body, bending in three places, appears very bright in the moonlight. This is very famous from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says that if you are interested in worldly life and with worldly relationship, then do not go that side. Which side? Which is on the banks of the Ramuna, near the Kesi Ghat. Why? Because there Krishna is standing in the threefold bending form and he is playing his flute. And as soon as you go there, he will cast his glance upon you. And once he casts his glance upon you, then your worldly life is finished. So if you are still attached to Maya, how you could have seen Govinda? For if you had really seen Govinda, how could no longer remain attached to Maya? What is the time? It is 9:29. One more past. A zamindar who was granted a private meeting with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati sat close to him and earnestly whispered. This is even interesting. He asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, have you seen Bhagavan? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati retorted, what is the use if I say I have or I haven't? As long as you do not know how to see Godhead, any statement about my seeing Him cannot benefit you. You must learn how to see Godhead. Otherwise, anyone can tell you that he has seen the Supreme Lord and you will be hoodwinked. You need to find out what it means. Hoodwinked. Wink means, wink the eyes. But what it means to hoodwinked? The Zamindar was not satisfied and with this reply and repeatedly asked, have you seen Bhagavan? Have you seen? But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati stuck to his point. Without knowing who is the Supreme and the authorized process for seeing Him, Any such declaration, I have seen God, will only serve to deceive you. Pursuant to this point, he must explain that without lacerating all kudarshana, wrong philosophies, by sudarshana, correct philosophy, no one can attain Bhagavad Darshan, audience of Bhagavan. One day, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was lecturing, the deities Aarti began, and some listeners left to attend it. The same pastime is coming, which I was mentioning. He commented, they are going simply for eye exercise, thereby indicating that the Lord cannot truly be discerned by those who have not properly heard. And in Puri, he commented, similar to the disciple, having gone for darshan of Jagannath, arrived at the end of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's Katha in the Mat. We have seen many times. Many devotees, they will come when the Katha is getting over. Why? Because after Katha, there will be prasad. So Maharaj's attention was caught. A lecture in which he has expounded on the actual meaning of Jagannath Darshan. Even now you are very late. Even now you are wandering here and there going to see Lord Jagannath through these eyes. If you do not first attain spiritual knowledge through the ears, then going to see Jagannath will simply be curiosity mixed with personal sense gratification. I am not saying not to go to the temple to see Jagannath, but Jagannath will see. The pretense of darshan by a person lacking an objective is no darshan at all. To see Jagannath as the object of service is different from the world of personal enjoyment. When you go to see Jagannath, do not see the material world, but attain spiritual knowledge. So this is Digdrashya Vichar. Cultivating the divine vision. How? By the process of hearing. One day, a renowned professor came to the Gaudiya printing works to meet Srila Saraswati Thakur, who was sitting there expounding Hari Katha to his disciple. In course of conversation, the professor related that he has recited the Gita before Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Very important. Just see how Maharaj responds. And was well acquainted with him and some of his children. So this was not an ordinary person. He was a professor in that stage, at that time. And he had memorized all the Bhagavad Gita, and he said that he had recited the Gita before Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Srila Saraswati Thakur immediately retorted, you never saw Bhakti Vinod Thakur. You were never in his presence. The shocked professor replied, for so many years I discoursed to him at Ram Bhagan, and you are not accepting this? I am elder to you. I even know of all Bhakti Vinod Thakur's children. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati became aroused and manifested his intrinsic nature as the law and Acharya. Far from reciting to Gita to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, you were never able to see him. No mere professor can see Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. In our conception, Bhakti Vinod Thakur had no children. He was not a product of this material world. Bhakti Vinod Thakur kept himself hidden from those who think that they are seeing him. Bhakti Vinod Thakur revealed himself to one who understands that he is to be seen by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. The scholar was dumbstruck by this stinging analysis and could not grasp its deep import. Upon leaving, he commented to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, never did I go to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Never did I see him. My opinion is different from your proud words. He had some affection for me and never let me leave without feeding me. He had many confidential things to me. You sometimes saw that yourself. I am extremely aggrieved on hearing such unpleasant words from a sadhu like yourself. Not concerned that such a reputed and learned person was living in a huff, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati remained unhesitant in speaking the truth and further declared, as long as you have such mundane vision, you cannot see Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Become fixed in seeing yourself as the object of his sight. This is Driga Trishya Vichar. Hare Krishna. Our Prabhupada has been very, very kind, very, very magnanimous. But his spiritual master was very sharp. He would cut even more fiercely like the sword. Hare Krishna. Someone wants to say something on Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Pranab? Are you hearing? Many, many pastimes of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was very upfront and he was so bold and so courageous. He would cut the person straight. बोलो आप में से किसी को कुछ बोलना है या कुछ पूछना है? Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur said his Raman says Madhure Ujjwal Premandhya Shri Rupa Anuga Bhakti Tha. He came to bestow that Madhure Ujjwal Ras, that highest exchange of the intimate conjugal love of Krishna and Radha, Radha and Krishna. Madhure Ujjwal Prema. As per the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, Shri Rupa Anuga Bhakti Tha. He was as empowered to cut the jungle of Mayavan as Arjuna was empowered to cut the army of the Kauravas, as Hanumanji was empowered to cut the army of the Ravana, as empowered personality. Hare Krishna, I don't see anyone, really volunteering. So I'll stop here and possibly from tomorrow we'll resume the Pandavas' retirement. Till Bhakti Saraswati Thakur Tirabhav Tithi Mahamotsav ki jai.